Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. We're going to talk about a replica of Christopher Columbus' ship that sunk. And this replica was over in Mexico, where they made three replicas of the ships that Columbus brought over here. And they tried to sail this replica ship, and it sunk. That's not the only thing that happened. There is something else that occurred. Over in Spain, there was a museum that had a painting of Columbus and his men that traveled with him. And the painting was literally hanging in this place for 133 years. 133 years. So since 1892, this painting has been hanging in Spain. Two activists came and threw biodegradable red paint at this 133-year-old painting. Y'all, they can't fix it. The painting is gone. Right. They said the red paint went all the way down to the original canvas of the painting. And they did get the red paint off, but it now got all these streaks in it. So they said it's damaged. It cannot be repaired. It can't be repaired. And this happened on Columbus Day in Spain. So in Mexico, you got the ship that sunk, and in Spain, you had an original painting from 1892 that has been damaged beyond repair. So the painting is permanently considered damaged. I mean, I tell you what, y'all. You think the Most High don't wanna hear anything else about Columbus? Isn't this the sign right here? He don't wanna hear nothing else about Christopher Columbus. So, let me share my screen so we can get started. Now, the first guy is just telling you about the ships in Mexico. They apparently had these replicas. You could go on them, you could walk on them and everything. And then, when we get to the next video, that's when you're gonna see the thing sinking. All right, let me share my screen and we'll get started. Okay, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
Today we are going to see three replicas of the three ships that Columbus sailed to the New World: the Pinta, the Nina, and the Santa Maria, all built here in Palos de la Frontera. So they have accurate recreations of the three ships here in Valos. And here, let's see if I can show you. He's a giant monument to the discoverers of the New World. They very much embrace the Columbus legacy here in Palos and Huelva. We are here today at the replicas of Columbus's ships in Palos de la Frontera, in Huelva, Spain, in Andalusia Autonomous Region. Let's see if I can turn the camera around. Here they are. The Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. These ships were made right here in this town for Columbus's voyage. So it's fitting that this town has these replicas. This biggest of the three ships, the Santa Maria, even though it looks imposing and looks like your typical pirate ship from the Pirates of the Caribbean or something like that, it was actually not that useful to Columbus. It was really built in Galicia in northern Spain, I believe, to transport goods. And then it was too big. It ended up stranded in one of the Caribbean islands. Always had to leave it behind. Didn't even make the full first voyage. Got stuck in the Caribbean. And here I am on the Nina, one of the smaller ships that Columbus had. It's actually significantly smaller than you would imagine. And you got to think about these guys being on this ship for months at a time with nothing but the open sea. And this is what they have to deal with. It's written. It would have been cramped living space with a lot of cranky people that are getting poor nutrition, poor food, and you got to imagine not sleeping that well out on the open sea for what? It took at least a month, if memory serves right, for Columbus to get to the New World, with no concept of whether they would even find said New World or if it even existed, right? So the ship is just so much smaller than I ever realized. I mean, we have the Santa Maria over there, much, much bigger. But the other two ships, more this size. And I don't know if you can see in the video, but these decks are actually extremely tilted so that if water washed on board or splashed on board, it would just flow right out of the ship down here. But you can imagine in a storm how slippery these decks would be. And with this strong tilt, how easy it would be to just go down and hit the deck hard. And there is the mast. I was here in October in 2020, and the Santa Maria was open. Of course, today, when I decided to come again, it actually closed it and fenced it off completely. So we cannot go on it today. It's kind of a weird thing about traveling Europe during coronavirus is that it's like a 50-50 shot that things are just closed at any given time. There's been Roman theaters in Cadiz Cathedral closed. The Malaga Cathedral's rooftop was closed, but hey, I'm still getting to travel during the age of coronavirus, so I shouldn't complain. Although today, the Santa Maria might be poos because there are some aggressive gusts of wind out here. I don't know, the ship is not in a sturdy state for us to go on it, so that would be interesting. But here's a glimpse of it for you anyway. You can see it has 3 masts on my go-to ships, and it is quite big. And you can't see in there, but I'll post a picture for you from one that I had from October. But they have a model of Christopher Columbus inside working on his papers. No doubt lying to his crew about how long they've been sailing.
2025 is lit. You don't have no more power. Christopher Columbus people, you are done. Spain, Portugal, Rome, Italy, fucking Belgium, France. You are done. Scotland, Wales, England, British. You go have the power. The whole Christopher Columbus replica fucking ship that was there went under the fucking water. We are moving mountains. Keep working, Starseed. Keep working. We fucking shit up. We. Sila fikiri fakanto. Look at the no. Sila me fahango ete fikiri mafahantiri. Sula tonto. Sila kikina mafahantiri tekina mahanturu. Sila biko. Sila no fakanto kere kite kana mapokonto si tikiri bishikunto. Sila behind you pakonto sila fikira ah sudo. Sila kisekina mapokonto toniki. The emphasis where y'all ass out. I just love it. I just kick cats out this magic on y'all ass. Suno kere tekina mafakantiri tekina mapokonto kere kikiri tikina mafanti. No more. No more Christopher Columbus people. No more lies. This is not the generation. We even go fucking put our heads out like fuck it's under Baptist. We're not going. You might as well take them back. You better bring them back. Stop playing with us. We know who we are. We're not playing with y'all. The series is moving. Also up in these bites. Fuck Chris Columbus. Saul and I have we go deep and all these people they just say you don't give a fuck. Big up. We ready for the Columbus generation. You descendants of colonizers. You enslaved the children.
Inculta, que eres una inculta.
Climate activists in Spain destroyed a 1892 Christopher Columbus painting with red paint. And I think this happened a few days ago. Today I just saw the update. They were trying to get the red out. And yeah, it has soaked all the way through. It's completely ruined. It's completely destroyed. And it's a part of history that we'll never ever get back. Nobody will ever be able to see it live anymore because it is completely destroyed. And these climate activists have no other reason to explain that they did this other than, oh, they just wanted to do it to bring attention to climate destruction or whatever, climate change maybe. I have no fucking clue. All I know is that apparently they're looking at facing like a few years in Spanish prison, 3 to 5, I think it is. Personally, for me, in my own personal opinion, I think that you should throw the book at people like this. People that destroy paintings, destroy statues, anything a historical artifact. It should be crimes against culture, crimes against a nation, because you cannot recreate the history that comes with these things. You can't recreate this. And I'm not trying to defend Christopher Columbus at all in this, to the extent where I'm like, oh, he's such a great guy, you should just keep his painting and not and like keep his painting pristine and I glorify his painting. No, I think that it's part of history. It was made in the 1890s. That is over a century ago. It is part of their history, or Spanish history. It means a lot to a lot of people, even if Christopher Columbus was a problematic figure still. And destroying it like that, honestly, to me, is disgusting. It's like going and the fact that this thing, like all paintings from now on in all museums and anything like that, should have some casing around it. I would put casing around statues as well, because people will do crazy stuff like this. I don't know how two activists with paint buckets got inside past security, but possibly there could be no security at all. It is just a museum. I don't know. Unfortunately, the painting seems to be gone. Like I saw them trying to rinse out this red paint. It's gone. Unfortunately, R.I.P. Christopher Columbus painting. Again, not trying to glorify this guy because he was extremely problematic, very, very divisive person and figure, to the extent of how he treated the indigenous people when he landed in certain places. But the painter did this to unify Spain. He created this painting to unify the identity of Spain, right? And it helped for a long time. Not so much anymore, apparently. But yeah.
No, it wasn't protected by glass, and now it appears that the damage may be irreversible, despite a heroic 6-hour emergency restoration by specialists, which removed most of the red paint. This expert reveals that the 133-year-old varnish has been damaged, with obvious streaking. Over here, the red paint has even penetrated into the canvas, which according to the expert is impossible to get out. The red paint is also aggressively spreading from the bottom, suggesting the canvas is heavily saturated, and there's quite a lot of damage along the top as well. There's also longer term concerns involving the organic varnish and original paint, which may change colour as it deteriorates from the vandalism. As for the alleged two vandals, they are liable to 6 months to 3 years in prison or a fine. Thanks for listening.
Toda la parte del piso inferior, que es cuarto de máquinas, comedor, baños, completamente inundados.
Métale la sirena, ya se van, despídanlo. Se fue, güey. El Marigalante se fue.
Toda la parte del piso inferior, que es cuarto de máquinas, comedor, baños completamente inundados.
métale la sirena, ya se van, despídanlo. Se fue, güey. El Marigalante se fue.
Toda la parte del piso inferior, que es cuarto de máquinas, comedor, baños completamente inundados.
Ahí.
Métale la sirena, ya se van, despídanlo. Se fue, güey. El Marigalante se fue.
Christopher Columbus's ship sank. Technically, it was this one. I think those are two different things. It was a reproduction. Just in time for Christopher Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day, depending on, I don't know, pick your poison. A replica of Christopher Columbus's ship, the Santa Maria, sank in Mexico, which is really too bad. No matter how you feel about Christopher Columbus, losing another cool pirate ship, not a cool thing. This ship was built way back in the 80s and 90s for the 500th anniversary of discovering the Americas, and has since been used as a fun little cruiser for people to take around when they're visiting Mexico. Now, this isn't the first Christopher Columbus reproduction ship that has sank. I feel like I hear about this all the time, which really makes me wonder how many of them are there? You hear about 2 different Christopher Columbus ships sinking. If I had a nickel for every Christopher Columbus ship that sank, I'd have 2 nickels, which is a lot when you think about it. Now, I'm not really sure about the seaworthiness of these vessels, nor why they wanted to build them, except that maybe they were able to get some extra money for building them by saying it was Christopher Columbus when really they just wanted a cool ship. But these things were really terrible and would constantly sink way back when. So it's not that surprising that something like this would sink, because they were really top heavy. Because if you look how much ship there is above the water line. And so if there is a big wave or some other thing, I don't know what happened with this one, but it just kind of sinks.
I just can't help but laugh at this whole thing. Now, Columbus, his birthday was celebrated on Monday the 13th, and these events happened around the time of his birthday that was celebrated. I think it's very clear that the Most High don't want any more Christopher Columbus celebrations going on ever again. These are signs, y'all. These are signs right here for real. Mm, mm, mm. Unbelievable, but funny. Absolutely funny. But one thing I can say, it's a lot of people on this planet that don't like Christopher Columbus. Those 2 women that messed up the picture, they were activists. And of course, they got arrested and everything. And I think they're still in jail over there in Spain. So they're heroes. They should be released. Nobody got to look at that painting ever again. That 133-year-old painting is forever gone. They should be released. They did something great. Why should they go to jail for doing a good thing? Boy, I think that's hilarious. So, y'all, that's all I had to show you on this subject matter. I knew you would enjoy this one. I know I did. And oh well, let the ship sink. We don't need no ships that look like some crap Columbus sailed in the waters around this world anyway. I hope they all sink. I hope every last one of them sink. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And last but not least, we're going to talk again. There's another update on 3-Eye Atlas, and I have that one scheduled for 6:45. So I hope to see you then. But if nothing else, y'all share this one because I'm sure there's a lot of people that would take pleasure in that Columbus picture getting destroyed and that replica of the Santa Maria sinking. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people enjoying this one. Thank you, Kimmy. I deeply appreciate you sending me a Zelle. All right, y'all. I will see you at 6:45. Shalom, family.